Hey there, everybody. Editor Kevin here, just to drop in before the show starts a little note that this episode ended up going super long. So I've split it into two parts. One part is coming out this week. This second part is coming out next week. So on with the show.
It's funny because on the podcast, the amount of times where I will like make a joke and Tristan just responds with, and then continues.
You gotta have a straight man. It's not as good without a straight man.
So fun.
But you know what's great without a straight man?
What's that?
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to PixelLit. My name is Kevin. Alongside with me, as always, is Phil. And today,
Hello.
Special guest, Scott Niswander.
That's me.
He's here.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. This piece of great literature that we're about to dive into has genuinely just made my day. It's so fun.
This is a foundational text.
Oh yeah, 100%.
that we're going
This is
over.
part of the literary canon of video game novelizations.
Yes.
Actually, if you think about it, what we are about to talk about, when you think about it, actually might be kind of a foundational text among like video game novelizations. I'm not sure there are any earlier.
Yeah. I mean, that's true, unless there was a Pac-Man thing. But I don't think there would have been a novelization about Pac-Man, and maybe like a comic strip or something.
Yeah, like what's the
But
backstory
you're
there?
probably right. Pac-Man would have been the one.
Yeah,
So
that would have been the one.
So you're purporting that this may have been the first video game novelization? Is that right?
At least this series.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it weird?
This is 89.
Is it weird that the title is Mega Man 2? Like that people might be like, "Oh, cool. Is there a first one?"
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yes and no. Yeah, exactly. And that was the first. Yeah, I guess it must have been like a hot ticket item. You're like, we gotta sell Mega Man 2, damn it.
Mm-hmm.
No time for a novelization of the first one. And you know, but frankly, if all I knew about Mega Man 1 was the if you can even call it exposition that we get here in Mega Man 2, it must have been a very, very boring game/book.
Yeah.
So
Well, because Mega Man, but prior to this novelization, he didn't feel feelings.
no, that's right, he didn't.
I was gonna ask. So I know nothing about Mega Man. I know nothing, and so this feels.
This is why you're here.
Yeah, okay, great. So when I was reading this, I was like, wow, this is cool. Like, it feels like this must be very close to what actually happens in the game then, yes?
Oh, I mean, here's the thing. It is beat for beat to a severe detriment.
It feels like every chapter was describing a part of a level.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Just like a sliver of a level. It's a fascinating book. So in case you, the listening audience, have not picked up on it, we are talking about Worlds of Powers Mega Man 2 by FX9. And
It's a book created by FX9, written by Ellen Miles, a Seth Godin production.
All right.
so so we were looking into that before you jumped on the call, Phil. So Ellen Miles, her primary work in the aughts was a series of books called The Puppy Palace. And there's like 100 of them, and it just has adorable puppies on the cover.
Yeah.
Puppy
Well, you gotta have a lot of them. They fill up the
I
whole
mean,
palace.
I hope since in the time since that her writing ability has gotten a little better. Because if she's selling hundreds of these, I mean, my God. I need to know who FX9 is.
FX9 is the guy, is Seth Godin. Seth Godin and
it is Seth
FX9
Godin. Okay.
are the same person.
See,
Same person.
I'll
same
never
person.
forget. I had a feeling because that's the guy who gives himself a cool nickname.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like I remember years and years ago when Cisco came out with the Thong song.
Sure.
And the name of his album was The Dragon, which is a really weird, like, that's a weird juxtaposition.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Like, here's my hit single thong song from my album, The Dragon.
Yeah.
And then I saw him on MTV, and he referred to himself as the Dragon. He said, "I'm Cisco the Dragon." And I remember thinking, I get a feeling Cisco's the only one who calls himself the Dragon.
It's like
He's lucky we're all calling him Cisco.
I know. It's like you can't get your own nickname to stick. You know, it has to come from somebody else. And
Yeah,
then,
that's,
like,
that's a foul right there in terms of
Yeah, that's not allowed. That's not allowed.
in nicknameography. The other thing I'd like to point out on the title page is, and I didn't even notice this at first, this book is not authorized, sponsored, or endorsed by Nintendo of America Incorporated.
Holy shit, I just picked up on that too.
So how did Scholastic get away with this?
How did they get away with this? I'm just now noticing there's no Nintendo logo.
No.
They mention Capcom, like they give Capcom a registered trademark of Capcom USA.
Yeah.
How the fuck did they get away with this?
I'm not sure. Maybe it's like Capcom allowed it, but there's some weird, like, I don't know.
Some sort of loophole?
There's some sort of loophole where they had to point out that legalese that it wasn't, like, Nintendo doesn't approve this. When they are very specific, because Mega Man at the time was a Nintendo only character.
Yeah.
For the most part, there's some weird ports of Mega Man onto like DOS or whatever. They're funky.
Yep, I remember those. I had one of those. It had a total of 2 robot bosses.
Yeah. So why don't we just get right into it?
I would love
just do
to.
it.
I would love to so much talk about this book, please.
This book is dedicated to Jerry, the original Mega Man, and right into chapter 1.
Chapter 1. Right off the bat, if I may.
Yeah.
I'd like to. This might be aging me a bit. But right off the bat, the first thing we are in Dr. Light's I don't know, what do you call it? His lab.
Sure.
It mentions that there are bubbles everywhere. They use the word bubble twice.
They sure do.
And he opens up the chapter with "Welcome, welcome," to which I immediately ask, "Is Dr. Light Lawrence welcome?"
You know, it's so funny too, because I didn't even catch that it starts with, you know, just like welcome, like repeating a word, because that is so much of, like, I as I'm reading through this so many times throughout this book, the author will repeat the same word like twice to describe things, and I like made notes of all of them. So there's like there's like a wet world, a blue sky, a long chute, a long ladder. Like they just do that so much, and they like give it to you up front, very first words, welcome, like, all right.
welcome, yeah, gotta be ready.
Beakers bubbled over as they boiled away on flaming burners. Bubbles rose through clear pipes. And I don't know what's going on here. So, because Dr. Light makes robots,
right?
What is he doing with all this like liquid bubbling over his
like
lab?
Moonlighting as an alchemist or something.
Oh, yeah.
Oh boy. So yeah, chapter 1, Dr. Light is laying some track. He's basically saying, "Oh, Mega Man." That's his voice in the.
That's now canon. That's Dr. Light's voice.
That's his voice in one of the later games. He's got, "I hate to have to tell you this news, but."
And then notice how Mega Man responds.
I know.
Just repeating again.
So yeah, Dr. Wily's back, and he's got to fight some battles.
Yeah, you're gonna have to go defeat him. And Mega Man's just like, cool. Like that's
but Mega Man, you can't fight him alone.
Did either of you also notice the like immediate typo on chapter 1, page 1?
No.
Where was it?
In that final paragraph, Dr. Wily is spelled with an E, whereas everywhere else it's just Wily.
Ah.
Immediately typo. Everywhere else, no E.
Right off the bat.
Yeah. Right off the bat.
I gotta wonder if this woman was paid by the letter.
Had to squeak one more out.
Yeah.
Right. And just like, look, the double words are a creative choice. Back off. Now give me that extra 35 cents. Yeah. Oh, you're totally right. It's like you turn the page and they say Dr. Wiley like 5 times.
Oh, yeah. Even
different.
before then, they set it up in the paragraph before it with Dr. Wiley is just Wiley, and then it just caught me off guard immediately. Like, which one is it supposed to be? But
yeah. Oh, yeah. So they find out that Dr. Wiley is back. Mega Man's going to have to fight, but he says that what is it here? He says Dr. Light was just as smart as Dr. Wiley, but he used his genius for good, not for evil. He vowed long ago to do everything in his power to protect the universe from destruction, and we get a little background information on Mega Man, who is a tool-using robot.
Yeah,
not a superhero.
Not a superhero, except he's referred to as a superhero dozens of times after this.
Constantly.
Dozens of times.
He's a superhero, and this is he's like a gunman. He's like a Wild West gunman who's retired to the mountains after the first game.
Yeah.
Right.
He's got like his own little village that he like loves to, that he just talks about, home sweet home.
I just love his home sweet home.
It's just, you imagine him as a farmer out there. It's just like, oh, those days are far behind.
That would be, I mean, he is a tool-using robot, so...
He is a tool-using
farmer,
so he would know. He would know.
Yeah.
I love that where is it? They say that when Dr. Light basically designed him, he made sure that he would only ever think of good. So, like... canon right here, Mega Man's a paladin. Like that's just right there. That's just...
he's a paladin. What's the robot? D&D robot.
Warforged.
Yeah, Paladin Warforged. Yeah. There we go.
Paladin Warforged. Yeah, that makes sense. And his deity is Dr. Light. That makes sense.
Yeah, because he has to obey everything.
That's exactly right.
They state this twice. They make a point of saying it twice. Mega Man has to obey Dr. Light because he's a robot, and what else can he do?
You would think then that the very next thing that happens in this story sets up that he will do something that defies Dr. Light.
Right.
Right. I don't think that happens.
No. Okay. At no point, at no point in this entire book, which at my count, the edition I have is 73 pages long. At no point in this entire volume is there ever a moment where Mega Man has to defy any expectations. You pretty much know exactly what's going to happen. I feel like Ellen Miles literally sat down and watched FX9, or whatever his name is. Yeah, FX9 play Mega Man.
So basically, Seth Godin wrote an outline. He wrote an outline for the story and handed it to a writer. Yeah. That's apparently the way these worked.
I believe that. I absolutely believe that. And there's so many examples of that as we go.
And it's so perfectly set up because what happens is there's a failed cloning experiment.
Yeah. Where the fuck did that come from?
Wild. Well, so it comes from the Robo Transometer XZ4000. But what I love about this device is it is just, I don't know what it's meant to be used for, but it is the Robo Transometer XZ4000 with cloning capabilities.
With cloning capability. Yeah, that's not its primary
it just has
purpose.
It has that on top of whatever it's also used
this
for.
is just like a model version up from the regular XZ4000 that does not have cloning capabilities.
Yeah.
And
it's a personal massage.
Yeah, it's what it's mainly used for. Yeah.
It's mainly just has cloning capabilities.
So whoopsie, somehow the cloning machine replaces all of his circuits and circuit boards and robot parts with bones and fats and flesh, and somehow Mega Man is now human.
Which I gotta tell you, that's a colossal fuck up.
Yeah.
On the part of this, that's like if you went to McDonald's and ordered a Big Mac meal and instead they punched you in the face. like, oops, sorry.
Absolutely wrong.
And you were just fine with that for some reason.
Yeah, you're like, you know what? Honestly, I deserved it. You know?
Yeah. You know what? I my New Year's resolution was to cut back on the fast food, and you're helping me out. And
thank you.
Yeah.
It's I don't, and I was waiting the entire book, and maybe this is the wrong this is the wrong horse to back, is this book.
Right.
But I was waiting for the entire book for that to pay off. This is is almost like a Chekhov's gun of like, he's human now, and he's not a robot, and maybe he doesn't have to do whatever Dr. Light says.
Like, yeah, exactly.
It is a major complication in the story, and nothing comes up.
Changes everything about the character from the ground up. Nothing matters.
It's actually kind of fascinating. Like, they talk about, I'll tell you what, I will not lie, there was a moment where Mega Man talks about feeling fear.
Yeah.
And he's not used to the idea of feeling fear. He doesn't know what that emotion is. It takes him a minute to realize it's fear. That's actually pretty cool.
Yes.
That's actually not bad writing. And nothing comes of it. She might as well have given him a 14-inch cock. Like, it just, for all the difference it makes in this entire story. It's just, and every now and then, like in the fight, every now and then they're like, Mega Man absentmindedly adjusted himself to the other pant leg and then prepared the Mega Buster, which is not his cock.
I mean, it's a book for kids, so...
Well,
that one will need to be a second draft on that one for sure.
Yeah.
They've got to learn somewhere. Have to know about robots with 14-inch
Previously, he was Mega Boy. Now he is Mega Man.
Now he's Mega Man.
Exactly.
Mega Man is all grown up, and what was it?
In many ways,
it becomes a Chuck Tingle.
Oh my God! Let's get that man on this?
Oh gosh. And Scott, your favorite line then starts right off of chapter 2.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
Mega Man stirred.
Yeah, Mega Man stirred. His head hurt. Quote, "My head hurts," he said.
and I love the follow-up, because Dr. Light says, "What? Shut it, Dr. Light, you're a robot, you're impervious to pain." It just sounds like he's blaming him.
Dr. Light immediately gaslights Mega Man.
Your head doesn't hurt.
You
don't have a head. That's just not a thing. Oh my God. Yeah, these emotional moments. We get a lot of emotional moments. Mega Man, like, Dr. Light's telling him about he's like, you still gotta go fight these robot masters. And I don't care that you're going through puberty now. And he says, do you have, it's like, I forget what it is. Here it is. He's trying to get the briefing, and he senses a hesitation from Dr. Light. And he says, "I know what you're thinking," said Mega Man. "You think now that I'm human, my size might work against me," because they mentioned that he's really short and small. Yeah. "You think I'm too small to do the job." And it's like, did he also gained insecurity as a human or something? Like, he became like a angry, Italian New Yorker or something like that. Just like, yeah, I'm short. I can still kick some ass. You're saying I can't do it.
Like, Dr. Light is most likely just concerned that Mega Man is now human, but the one insecurity in Mega Man's head is like, I know what you're thinking. I'm short. Okay, look, I can do it. I promise.
I'm 5'3" and I can't kill some robots. Fuck you, Light.
Listen, this short king can do it.
Come on, short kings.
So the one of the changes from the game to the book is that his gun is called the Mega Gun.
The Mega Gun, yeah.
Instead of the Mega Blaster.
Mega Blaster. Okay, that makes sense.
The other change, Scott, in case you didn't pick it up,
Please,
was
yeah.
that he's now human.
Yeah, that one was sort of a big one. That one.
That's
Yeah.
never a thing in the games. He's he's always a robot.
That's wild. That is absolutely wild to me.
It's kind of an abrupt change. Like
Did they do that because they thought a robot main character would be not emotionally interesting to follow?
I don't know.
Not sure.
I don't know how much thought they really put into it.
From the mind of FX9 and Ellen, what's her name? Ellen something.
Miles.
They just threw this change in there and
Absolutely
doesn't matter.
bonkers. Yeah, for
Doesn't
no
matter.
reason.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
It's just like it's just in there.
It's just in there. There's a part of me that my instinct said, and this would rely on Ellen Miles being much older than she is, but I don't know why. I don't know why in my head I thought of Ellen Miles as like a mom or something like that, and I could just imagine my mom going, "Well, a robot can't be killed, so we have to make him a human because humans can be killed, robots can't be killed." It's like you're literally about to. Okay.
Like to make it to raise the stakes a little bit.
Got to raise the stakes. Got to raise the stakes.
So he can feel things as this goes. Because he does feel some fear and
but he also kills other robots.
He's a terrible psychopath.
Oh, he kills so many people. Like
for someone who just got emotions, he has no remorse. Like that was one that totally skipped him by. He is like does not get that emotion.
Oh, you for the listeners, we are about to go through 8 obliterations. He doesn't leave like the body anywhere. It's always like there were a few springs left and nothing else. Like he nukes the earth with these people.
And like, look, I know it's a book for children, so I know they're not going to explore a lot of deep philosophical themes, but how interesting would it be if he starts questioning like, well, wait, if I could have turned human and had all these emotions, like why am I just killing these robots that also otherwise could have been these fully fleshed out beings? And I don't know, it's like that's another story for a different time.
I'm gonna tell you something, Scott. I thought about that kind of thing a lot while I was reading this. In the half hour it took me to read this, I thought about this a lot. And here's the thing. Every single time I thought to myself, but this is a book for children. And then I finally had this epiphany where I was like, wait, Neverending Story was for children.
Yeah.
And it dealt with some heavy, dark topics. Like, don't talk down to children. Children are smart. They can handle shit. Have you ever seen All Dogs Go to Heaven? There's some brutal, fucked up shit in that story.
Yeah.
So,
also, at the very end, I'm skipping way ahead, but it's not narratively. At the very end,
we'll roll back around.
At the very end of this book, it says, "Dear reader, I hope you liked reading Mega Man 2. Here's a list of other books I thought you might like." And it has things like I, Robot by Isaac Asimov.
Yes.
And it's like, are you comparing this book to these texts?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so glad. I the moment I saw that, I texted Kevin. I was like, does the PDF version have this? I need to know. At the end of this book, it was not an uncommon thing with kids' books to like say, here are some other books you might like.
Great, yeah.
We've got How to Eat Fried Worms, Thomas Rockwell. That was a classic when I was a kid. The Phantom Toll Booth, total classic. Have Spacesuit Will Travel, Robert Heinlein.
Robert Heinlein.
Robert Fascist Heinlein.
Unbelievable. It's so wild.
I, Robot by Isaac Mutton Chops Asimov. Like, this is, and I think it's great. I think challenging kids to read outside of their reading group is awesome. My dad gave me a copy of Jurassic Park when I was in 3rd grade, and I am forever changed. He may have done things a little differently now looking back on it, but I liked it. And it's a good thing, but after this book, like after a book that in no way could challenge this book could not challenge an amoeba.
After this book, why don't you dip your toe into some Starship Troopers? There you go, kid.
That's right.
It has themes extremely similar to this book. You will have noticed.
Yeah. Now that you're done hearing about the story of Mega Man, how about we go nuke some skinnies? Oh, that'll be fun.
Wild.
Oh God. Okay, so we get into chapter 3. We are in Metal Man's world.
Yes.
And I think the one thing that this book got 100% all across the board correct is the importance of Metal Man's Metal Blade weapon.
Yeah.
He uses it all throughout the book, and that's and this is why I think that she watched someone play, because anyone who plays Mega Man 2, especially like when they were a kid, knows that the Metal Blade is good for everything.
Yeah.
You use the Metal Blade constantly.
Yeah.
So that's a detail I think
That's
that,
a nice little.
she was
It's a nice touch.
For sure.
Yeah,
And I mean,
yeah.
I do like that the game that the book throughout has game tips for how to beat bosses and things. Like the order that Mega Man beats all these other robots is supposedly, the book tells me, I don't know, is supposedly the best order to play the game out in.
This is, I don't recall if there was a lot of different other ways that people did it, but this is as I recall the way I did it.
Yeah.
But I didn't own part 2.
Yeah. Because the whole game is basically it's almost like a rock, paper, scissors type thing where each robot has a weakness for the other robots. But yeah, I forget the specific order. There were a couple different orders you can use for this game. But I think Metal Man historically was always the first dude.
Yeah. We
So-
spend a good amount of time here, I think, in this this chapter. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
He fights his way through Metal Man's level. There's conveyor belts. There's things falling from the ceiling at him, and he blames Dr. There's ways to like, this must be Dr. Wily's doing. Like, yeah, we knew that, Mega Man.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
Yeah, that's the whole. It's like, it'd be one thing if he got like mugged, some kid with a switchblade like shows up. He's like, oh, this probably doesn't have anything to do with Dr. Wily. This is just bad luck.
It's just bad.
This is just a bad neighborhood, I think. Damn. Okay.
Mega Man wandered into Grand Theft Auto. He did not wander out.
He did not.
No.
We have not seen him. Please call his wife. So he fights his way through Metal Man's level. And again, we're going to see this. We're going to see a theme of this as we go. We get like a total of maybe 2 paragraphs dedicated to the fight between Mega Man and Metal Man. The fights literally go pow, blam. Like it's like the 60s Batman cartoon.
There's almost no descriptions of like what actually, you get like sort of the before and the aftermath, but you don't get like the specifics of like maneuvers or really much of that. It's just a lot of like kapow and bzzz and things like that.
Because kids are dumb and loud noises, even when written on the page, will do. They'll take that.
It'll just be different every time they read it because they can make up exactly what happens.
Right. It's they're encouraging the imagination. It's a good book.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about
Just
that.
fill a page with onomatopoeias and move on.
That's right.
Yeah. And we get pow, blam, Metal Man exploded into a million gears, cogs, and flywheels, and then Mega Man just stood there and grinned. I always knew you were nothing but a heap of junk, Metal Man. Mega Man, please. Someone has died.
You have murdered someone.
You cold-blooded psychopath.
Not an hour ago, you were exactly like this being, you know?
Right. I know this is a new concept for you, Mega Man, but please try to have some humanity.
And like this is such like a very like cheesy 80s movie where like every time he defeats one of these robots he says like a very punny one-liner like this.
Oh yeah.
It's entertaining to say the least. I do like this.
It's and it comes to one of my favorite bits of dialogue. We'll get to it soon, where you just go, wait, where the fuck did that come from? So chapter 4, we are heading over to Flashman's Empire. Which is cold, a damp kind of cold and gloomy. That's okay. That's right. I mean, That's an adjective.
picture.
Like, all right, damp, kind of cold.
Yeah.
It's so he's making his way. We get introduced to his energy pellets.
Yep.
Yes.
He gets to carry them around. Apparently, that's not something you were allowed to do in the game
No, you're
unless
not.
it was an E-tank.
No, you're not allowed to carry.
Now that's another thing. That was another thing. We get introduced to an E-tank, which is the kind of energy you're allowed to carry around and use later on. But it's and that was something that I was like, oh, he's gonna hold on to it. He's gonna be at the end of his strength. He's about to die, and then he goes, wait a minute, and he pulls a Popeye and squeezes the spinach out of the can, and his arms become horribly warped and disfigured, and he wins.
Yeah.
But no, it's kind of like meals. He has to have a couple of
He has a
meals
little
every
snack.
now and then.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the way they're described in the book, I just imagine it's like he just carries a little Pez dispenser around.
Right,
It's like-
right.
Delicious.
In between robot murders, I'd like to.
I like the
And
grape
the
one
E-tanks
more.
are even
Yeah.
yeah. Well, and the E-tanks are even described as containing vitamins and nutrients.
Yes.
Like that's next time you have a gaping, sucking chest wound, please
Which is
you need some vitamin D. That's
but that's
all.
also wild to me because had he not become human, what good would that have done him? Vitamins.
I think
and
we're stumbling
nutrients.
on to why they made him human.
Oh yeah,
Mm.
yeah. He needed a weakness. He was too mega.
Too mega.
Too mega. Not enough man.
Not enough man.
That's the next T-shirt. Too mega.
So,
not enough man.
Yeah, he has a showdown with Mr. Big from Sex and the City, and then
Who has a heart attack and dies before Mega Man can properly beat him up.
Yep.
Spoilers.
Spoilers for episode 1 of the new Sex and the City series.
we know that our audience are big Sex of the City fanatics. Look, I'm not watching that show, but my fiance is, and if I gotta suffer, the rest of you do too.
Well, I mean, it was perfect timing because Chris Noth they found out that he was like,
Oh yeah.
he was sexually harassing just about everyone, everywhere, all the time.
I think that was all coming.
Yeah.
We get also the beginning of a trope that happens throughout this book constantly, and it's when Mega Man sees a bad guy, he has to tell us that Dr. Light warned him about this thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, why can't he be surprised? Like, why every single monster he fights, he goes, oh, Dr. Light warned me about this one. He did?
Knew
When?
this bad boy was coming.
Yeah. Why not an element of surprise? Why is that
Or
a
just
bad
like
thing?
work in the warning into that part, like have Dr. Light, because he's doing like the guy in the chair thing where he's just like outside
right.
of the battle being like, are you ready to move on to the next thing, Mega Man? I would rather, it would be more fun to have him be like, oh, Mega Man, watch out, it's this character.
This is how you got to deal with it. And Mega Man's like, on it, Dr. Light. And then it's like,
cool beans and yeah. And then the worst. I hate to disagree with you, Scott, but some of the worst game hints I've ever seen. They end some of these chapters. They take them and they put them upside down. To kill Airman, carefully jump the tornadoes to get close to him.
Yeah. Is that a bad tip?
great.
It's kind of you kind of have to.
All right.
Like there's literally no other way. It's kind of like they'll be like game hint. To eat an orange to avoid scurvy, like something like it's like I got
You
it.
have to.
Yeah,
Game hint. Press buttons on the controller to do things. Oh,
Pretty much,
fantastic!
yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
No, and you're right though. One of them does point out, and I thought it was clever. They say, if you pay attention to the order that Mega Man's fighting in this book, that's the way you want to see. That would have been more stuff
Right.
like that. Would have
Yeah,
been
for
good.
It's like game hint. Press right to advance in Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
Press right to go right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like I got it. So we
so
are.
he kills Flashman. The
Kills
Flashman's
Flashman.
destroyed.
That was super quick
Kills
battle. I don't even think Flashman says anything.
Flashman doesn't say
No,
anything.
he doesn't.
No.
He's just fast, and he just kills him.
Yeah.
The pun for this one is You've got to be more than just a flash in the pan to beat me. Which,
Mega Man said that smiling. He was proud of himself.
Smiling. He's saying it to no one but a corpse.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Mega Man, for God's sake. I'm writing a letter to Flashman was used by Dr. Wily. He was reprogrammed. This isn't who he was. His real name was Joseph. I knew him, Mega Man. I knew him.
Oh boy.
2 down, 6 to go. Said Mega. Yeah, like that's...
That's right.
Leaves Flashman's grieving widow behind.
Right.
Oh God. So we're into chapter 5, and these chapters, there's like 1,000 chapters in this book, and they're all kind of short.
Yeah, I mean that's one like compliment I can give this book is it is just like lightning fast. There's like no pause. It's just action to action to action.
Like there's no moment of he's not dissecting his actions or his thoughts, or there's no inner life of Mega Man.
No.
It literally might as well be if you were to sit down and I mean we've mentioned this before, but if you were to sit down next to somebody who was playing through the game and you literally just wrote Mega Man kills a big giant frog monster.
Yeah.
Mega Man goes through things. Mega Man kills Flashman. You'd essentially have what you've got here with just fewer puns. That's really what it comes down to.
That's all it is.
Yeah. And they do, and you can tell because they do have the little mini bosses like the Croaker, the big robot frog pops up, Mr. Big pops up. And that actually gives them an excuse to make more chapters. I thought at first, I was like, okay, so we're going to get like 10 chapters, 1 chapter for each of the bosses, 1 for Wily. No. If we've got a mini boss, you get an extra chapter. And aren't you a lucky boy and or girl?
That's exactly right. It is stuffed, this book.
Stuffed.
Every detail.
So he kills the giant frog with the metal blade.
Kills the frog.
Metal blades
kills
rock.
the shit out of the frog.
Kills the shit out of that frog.
Which, by the way, Scott, that has actually been pointed out. It's been pointed out to us that is the first like PixelLit trope is Phil or I saying kills so and so, and then the other responding kills the shit out of them.
Which we were not doing on purpose.
Which we were not doing on purpose.
You just had your own pattern. Yeah, I like it.
And now we're doing it. Now it's for real.
That's for you. That's for you, Harry. That's.
Thank you for listening, Harry. So Mega Man is he's going down. He's going underwater.
Yep.
He's having his private little freak out moment. It's this is another great example of like nothing matters because he has a momentary thing of like, well, I was a great swimmer when I was a robot. I wonder if things are going to be different now that I'm a human. No, it's the same. He could swim fine.
Like there's not even the question here. The problem here is like, can he swim as good as when he was a robot? Not like, how's it going to struggle having to hold his breath now that he's human?
Right.
How's he breathing?
I love it. It says his helmet kept the water out, and it's like terrific. What happens after like
30
half a minute?
Yeah. No idea.
And he's just hyperventilating himself beneath the ocean.
This cubic space of air is like 30 seconds of air here.
Yeah, that's it. That's all he's got. So he's looking for Bubble Man, whose shtick is that in each sentence, every other word is a blorble or gurgle or because I would think he would be the only person who didn't talk that way if his whole shtick was he lived underwater.
I think he would be adapted to communicating underwater if he's supposed to be an underwater robot.
Right.
Maybe those are. No. What do you think those are just his underwater swear words?
Maybe.
Like, how gurgle dare you enter my King Blurble Dome?
Oh, I wonder. Yeah. Okay, hold on. If we replace each one of those with fuck or fucking, Mega fucking man,
Yeah.
he cried. How fucking dare you enter my king fucking dome?
Kind of works.
You'll never fucking get me, Mega Man. You fucking figured it out. Dr. Wily fucking will be proud of me.
That's what it is.
You fucking nailed it. I'm sorry, you blurbled it.
Thank you. I wasn't even trying, but I'm glad we figured out we solved that mystery.
I
was really concerned about that we weren't going to get to the bottom of that, and
no letters over this
I
one.
thought that was going to take at least 40 minutes of this podcast.
no, we're going to drop everything. We got to figure this out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to make a double episode out of this thing.
Because the blurbling would assume some sort of like oxygen, like
Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
That's so Mega Man. He tries to use the bubble lead on him, which always was a little weird to me. But they describe it as like a molten
bubble
lead.
of molten lead, basically.
Yeah. Which kind of cool.
Yeah.
I never thought of it that way. So he takes an energy pellet because for a split second, Mega Man gets hit and he just lays still.
It's like The Witcher. It's like in the like when The Witcher has to like drink his little potion and his eyes go black.
Right.
That's what Mega Man is doing right now. Is
that's essentially what we're looking at here.
This was like the most sort of scary part of this book, because this is like the only time where like Mega Man really gets hit, and they milked it for just like maybe 2 paragraphs, if that.
Like just he lays still. Bubble Man gloats over his body. Then there's a beeping inside the helmet, and Dr. Light basically gives him a you gotta do it, you gotta, kid, just kind of gives him a pep talk.
Yeah.
And Mega Man blinked. I knew you weren't dead, said Dr. Light, but he didn't sound so sure.
Didn't sound so sure.
Oh, Dr. Light, we really appreciate your confidence.
Oh.
So
he goes, instead of going back to the lab, he is straight into Airman's empire. And I like the fact that they keep referring to them as empires. So in the Mega Man canon, and I forget about Mega Man 2, the way it's set up, like each of the robots has like a specific like task that they do, right? So there's like in the first game there's a robot named Gutsman, which like looking back on it doesn't make any sense why he's called that, but he's a construction robot. He lifts heavy things and he moves them, and then he goes rogue, he goes evil. So the fact that they're calling them like little weird worlds and empires, like I don't get where is this, like a multiverse situation, or is it like
they're like hopping to their own dimensions where they rule over people? Yeah.
Is it?
That was what I was wondering. Is
it like going from Midgard to Niflheim or like? It
kind of implies that and also implies that these guys are like the leaders of this empire, and therefore they've taken it over. Like they've taken they massacred the local population. They took it over, and they're looking to expand.
Yeah.
So Mega Man might just have to sit back, and they'll fight amongst themselves for land, and unless we are looking at a multiverse situation,
right?
Yeah.
In which case, that shit's infinite.
Yeah. There's a lot of universe.
Mega Man, what are you going to
Mega
do?
Man, what are you gonna do? He's gonna. This is. There's a lot of detail in terms of, like. What he's seeing in this chapter specifically. I feel like this is a long one.
Suddenly decided that we needed to talk about the little monsters.
And they're strange. They're strange creatures indeed, which it says several times.
Yeah, strange. Another one that we get a lot is mean looking.
Yeah,
there's a mean looking. It's like, what does that mean? Like, it looked like it would steal your lunch money, just like that.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mega Man is making his way through Airman's level. Let's call it what it is. It's not an empire, it's a level.
Well, you're diminishing his accomplishments at that point, but all right, I'll allow.
Forgive me. I'm not going to aggrandize a warlord, Scott.
That's fair.
I'll
concede.
We do not platform robot terrorists on this.
No, we do not. Not on this show.
That is a hard
sir.
line. Absolutely.
That is a line in the sand.
No, sir.
Oh.
But he makes his way through. We've got bomb birds. We've got a thunder chariot.
Yes.
Which he's riding one thunder chariot after another, making his way through the air. And we get a nasty looking creature. Now this is funny because I forgot about this creature. I thought they were describing Airman. Up ahead was a nasty looking creature with quickly spinning blades set into its middle. It grinned at him as it made its blades spin faster and faster. And I'm like, you're talking about Airman, right? A fan fiend, which I'm just going to be honest with you. That's a name that bums me out.
Fan fiend.
A fan fiend.
So in the game, I think the fan fiends were like sumo wrestlers or something like that with
really? Oh man.
With like a fan in their chest.
I guess Airman was more of like a fan as a mouth.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look this up.
That is literally what it is. It's just a.
Oh yeah. Well, he kind of looks like an overweight Mega Man, doesn't he?
Oh, I see. Yeah.
He just looks like an overweight Mega Man with a fan in his stomach.
Yeah.
And then I just get a lot of fiend art after that. That's enough internet.
Mega Man, Mega Fan. That's what he should have been called.
Mega Fan. So, and so we get to Airman. Airman was the scariest looking super robot that Mega Man had ever seen. It wasn't that he was big. It wasn't that he was strong looking. It was his mouth.
Yes. Did you both notice that the very start of this book has a quote about Airman that is almost like this, but not like that? Like, so
wait.
Oh hell, you're right. It's a different draft.
It's a different draft because the official one says Airman was the scariest looking robot that Mega Man had ever seen. It wasn't that he was big. It wasn't that he was strong looking. It was his mouth. Whereas the book like opens before anything else. They give you this little like excerpt from the book. Airman was the scariest looking robot that Mega Man had ever seen. He was big and he was strong, but the scary thing about him was his mouth. And like there's little details like that go on, but it felt so weird that there are two different versions of this part in this book.
Yeah, that is nuts. And what's funny is I actually like the excerpt one better. He was big.
Oh, do you really?
He was big and he was strong. But the scary thing about him was his mouth.
Yeah.
Something about that reads. Like,
I agree.
The negative, I don't dig the negative as much as like just acknowledging the fact that he was big and strong.
Yeah, that makes
sense.
The
scary thing about him was the eldritch horror that was his mouth of fan blades.
Right.
100%.
I think as long as the draft that they went with included demolishing you will be a breeze, Mega Man. As long as it includes that, I'm gonna accept that it was the best choice.
Yeah, that's good.
We get like literally like 3 sentences dedicated to the fight on this one, which has got to be some kind of record.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of ugly. All the air was let out of Airman, and he collapsed like a popped balloon.
That's like, I don't know, something about that makes me think of like a corpse load.
Right. Just kind of, and the wind died down at once. I guess it's gonna be a nice day around here after all, said Mega Man. Mega Man, have you never been sailing? Wind can be a beautiful thing.
It's great. A nice breeze,
it's
a nice
wonderful.
Summer breeze. Who doesn't love that?
Absolutely.
Who doesn't love a nice breeze on your face?
He's only been human for, I mean, it sounds like based on this, he's been killing robots for like an hour and a half, so he'll figure it out eventually. Yeah. How long do you suppose this book, like, was this like a day of killing robots? Was this like a week.
Well,
Like, it never says, like, Mega Man sat down for a nice nap.
Yeah,
like,
it's weird, though, because I do think the book reads like it's immediate one after the other. But then there are these, like, interludes where Dr. Wily's over the news beam and he's, like, sending these messages. So it's like, clearly he's got to have time to, like, do these things and get reports back that Mega Man had destroyed some stuff. So it feels like there should be that it should be longer than it is, a longer span of time, but the book just goes immediate one after the other, so it's hard to know for sure.
Yeah, there's no downtime at all, and that's not such a good thing. Usually when you say something like "there's no downtime," it feels like wow, it's just action packed. Just one after the other. It's like there's no downtime. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
I'm so confused.
Just immediate, just always running. So Mega Man does give another one-liner in the following chapter where he says, "Oh, he was just full of hot air," referring to Airman.
That's true. He did. He had that one waiting. Yeah. Like he was like, "Oh, which one do I go with? Which one?"
He's like, "Oh shit, I got two for this guy. But I'll say one now and one later." Okay.
Yeah, he said the one and it didn't get the reaction he wanted, so he's like, "All right, man, I should have done the other one. I'm sorry. I'll just."
Yeah. Like he didn't want to say the hot air one because he felt like it was cliche. Like he was like, everyone does the hot air thing. I got something. He was like he was really married to the whole nice day thing. And just like when you are, Kevin can speak to this, when you become that obsessed with a joke you wrote, it almost never goes over as well in the process. So he didn't even have a writer's room to like pitch it and like,
and that's the real tragedy, honestly, of Mega Man.
That's the real
that he
sad
doesn't have
part.
a writer's room that he can pitch the one-liners to.
Mega Man is written before a live studio audience.
It's been good. Season 2's been extra good. It's our showrunner's Mega Man. Yeah, the Mega Man. It's good stuff. So now speaking of what Scott mentioned
Dennis
earlier,
Miller again.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So Mega Man's coming in here. The guy's just full of hot air, babe.
Do you get it? Like Airman.
Just full of hot air. Scott actually referenced this, and now we get it. We get a little bit of a downtime here. We find out that Dr. Wily has been talking shit against Mega Man, and it's kind of hilarious. It's not even live. Like Dr. Light's just like, oh yeah, he's been talking trash, and I recorded it if you want to hear.
Yeah,
and it's just Mega Man, the evil genius roared, "You little pipsqueak. How dare you even think about destroying me? I am invincible." And I gotta say, it's kind of funny how hard the writer has focused on Mega Man being short. Yeah. This is the first time I've ever thought about it.
Do you think the writer is insecure about it?
Maybe. I guess when you look at the sprite of Mega Man versus everything else on the screen, yeah, he's got kind of a Logan quality to him.
Yeah.
But I never thought about it. And it's so funny how this writer seems to have
maybe the writer's not insecure about their own hype, but maybe they were watching some, like we keep saying, they were definitely watching someone play this game and writing it. Maybe they're just like, that's the hero? Yeah. The little guy?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
The little
so
guy.
Tiny.
He's so
not
little.
Mega.
Yeah.
He's not Mega. He's got to be human. We got to make him human for some reason.
I mean, in Japan, his name is Rockman. So that is the subtle difference there.
The subtle difference, and his girlfriend's name is Roll.
Is it his girlfriend or his sister?
Is it? I never understood. I never knew if it was his sister or his girlfriend. Or I guess
huge difference between those two roles.
I mean, I'm from Georgia, not as much as you think.
Yikes.
Oh boy. Well, they're robots. I don't think they I mean, I guess they can be socialized to be family, but it's not like there's genetics to worry about there.
That's true. That is true.
Robot incest. Moving on.
Anyway, they're totally boning. So this is the best bit of dialogue, I think, in the whole book. The opening of chapter 10. So this is where Crash Man hangs out, said Mega Man. And it's like, where is he, Mos Eisley? Like, I didn't expect him to be in the cantina. He's like, so this is his old stomping ground, eh? Like, wonder if that blue guy will stop playing that annoying song.
There's a jukebox in the corner.
Right. So he makes his way. Oh, we get he fights a squad of pipe bombers, which this cracked me up because the description it sounds like they're trying to be relatable, and it's so bizarre. These tiny robots look like small sections of pipe which had broken off, grown eyes, and learned to use weapons.
Huh.
You know, like you do,
like pipes that grow eyes and fight with weapons. You know
when that happens. Sometimes they look like
inanimate objects suddenly evolve to have eyes and use weapons, not tools. Yes. They skip right over tools into weapons.
Now, do they fight with pipes? Good question.
Right? Yeah.
No.
Let's see.
No.
Yeah. No.
Bombs.
They don't.
There are pipes. They are pipes that use bombs. They are not pipe bombs.
Right.
They would actually consider you a bit of a bigot if you even suggested
it's incredibly offensive. Yeah,
it's incredibly offensive.
They've got a very different culture.
Not suggest the pipe people use pipes because that's just
huge no.
Yeah, they're just no. So he's making his way through it, and we get our first instance of seeing a monster on this level that is in other levels. So he sees, what is it he sees? Let's see.
The little fist things or whatever.
Oh, it's a bomb bird. He sees a bomb bird, and he says, they live here too, said Mega Man, ducking as the bomb fell near him. And it's just, he's just learning that sometimes the designers need to save money.
Sometimes the designers need a break. And we're just going to pay.
I guess the bomb birds are loyal to multiple empires.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. They don't even know what they're doing. This is part of their mating ritual. They're just part of the local
nature.
Fauna.
This is local fauna.
Yeah.
You can't blame the bomb birds.
Loyalties. Yeah,
they're just loyalties.
There. No. You're on their turf, my friend.
The bombs that they drop are just byproducts of their mating ritual.
Right.
Mega Man, you're just interrupting. And you find out later that Mega Man is like traipsing through like protected habitats.
Yeah.
Mega Man, you've destroyed 3 species, in 2 hours.
Yeah, he's like so triumphant at the end of this whole thing. I beat Dr. Wily, and everyone's like looking at all the corpses of all the like endangered, now extinct animals, just like at what cost, Mega Man?
I win.
Freeze frame.
Yeah,
it's like
just people weeping in the background.
Cuts to congressional hearings where Mega Man's testifying in front of the Senate.
It was for the good of the people, right?
He's in a suit and tie. He's just like I don't understand. I defeated Dr. Wily. I don't know what you people want from me. And then he says a racial slur. I don't know why that's how it always goes.
It goes that way.
He has a real gamer moment, and then he
really does.
in front of Congress.
Yeah, it was the worst time for those. We get a fight between Mega Man and Crash Man that is a full 4 or 5 paragraphs long.
It's pretty good.
Now, to be fair, their version of paragraphs are like 1 to 2 sentences.
Sure, it's a kid's book.
But it counts.
It counts.
So Crash Man's throwing bombs at him. I always liked Crash Man's bombs. Scott, I don't know if you looked up this guy at all.
Is he the one on the cover of this book?
He
is. Yeah. Well, he's that's Quick Man on the right, but that's Crash Man on the left.
Gotcha.
And his bombs actually have like drills built into them. So you throw them and they implant themselves in they
start drilling
a wall or something. Yeah. And
cool.
Then explode. And I always, that was always like my favorite weapon. And such a neat detail they didn't really go into.
That is cool. Yeah.
Also, Crash Man had, that's the one thing that is really lacking in the novel of this game novel. Is that the game, the soundtrack it slaps. It's
oh my god, it is one of the greatest 8-bit soundtracks.
Yes, that's actually the thing that I'm most familiar with Mega Man. Is when I was in college, I used to exclusively listen to video game music to get me through like assignments and things, and Mega Man would come up a lot on Spotify.
Yeah. The Wily's Lair Mega Man 2 song it used to be my phone ringtone, and it will never not be able to hype me up. It is such a great freaking song. So yeah, it is. I will say, Kevin, I had the soundtrack like rolling through my head as I was reading this, and it still wasn't enough to make this book good.
And speaking of that, this is actually a funny background story for Phil. Is that Phil's friend was one of the co-founders of the Proto-Men, which was a band that rose to popularity doing a lot of Mega Man
Well, they wrote a Mega Man rock opera.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
And he was one of the founding members. They're still out there. They still tour. They actually went on tour with Tupperware Remix Party.
Twerp, love it. Yeah.
And they because it's two bands of people pretending to be robots. So how can you not super get into
it's
that?
It's incredible.
But I got to host them in Savannah. So yeah, check out the Proto-Men if you guys haven't already. Their first album to me is still like one of the best things they ever wrote. It's friggin' amazing. It's like all of what you could do with retelling a Mega Man story in like an amazing fashion, as opposed to and then he jumped and then he threw a bomb and then what does he say at the end of this one? Another super robot bombs out. He said happily, that's cusp. That's
the worst. That is the worst of the lines that he says. It's like all the lines, and then there's like a space, and then you really didn't try.
They did. That was just.
Do we workshop a new one? Like, who's got a better one?
All right. Crash Man. All right.
That's what I call.
It's a bomb
that's
situation.
What I call a crash and burn.
Crash and burn.
Okay,
That's good.
see?
I like
That's
it.
good.
I like it.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's how I killed that robot. I didn't have one before I started talking.
That was. I mean, but it's on point for the character.
Okay, yeah.
It's a little similar to mine. Mine is I am become death, destroyer of worlds.
That's good, and that would then go on to inspire Oppenheimer. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
exactly. It was that order.
It was that order, it didn't go back as far as ancient Hindu scripture or anything like that.
I was about to say, I think it was the Rig Veda, but
nothing like that.
Hey everybody, thank you for listening to the first part of our Mega Man 2 episode with Scott Niswander. Part 2 is coming out next week. Look forward to that, and remember, if you can, rate us 5 stars on whatever platforms will let you rate us 5 stars, and also share us with your friends, family, and etc. Anyway, that'll do it for tonight's episode. Thank you very much, and have a good evening.